This decoding leaflet can be downloaded from the website. You can see on the front that it has a typical pattern of how a tombstone inscription is laid out. On this side it has a few lists which you will find useful for checking out the names, birthplace, the status or the army rank of whoever's tombstone it was, information about the legion or the squadron that the person belonged to, and also some help with sorting out the way that the Romans wrote their numbers down, the Roman numerals. On the other side you'll see that there is a fictitious example of a possible tombstone inscription. This actually contains a lot more information than you will find on any tombstone, but it's all there just so that whichever bits happen to be on the tombstone you find, hopefully you'll be able to work out what they are. On the left hand side you can see is an interpretation of what each section actually is. On the right hand side there's a translation of this particular stone. They were always short of space on a tombstone, so they quite often just put the first letter or the first few letters of whichever words they wanted. And because these inscriptions all followed a similar pattern, people could easily work out what the full word would be. At the top you quite often see the letters DM. This stands for Dies Manibus, and it's a dedication to the underworld gods, meaning to the gods of the ghosts. Next you can see the dead person's name. He actually has 3 names, and this shows that he was a Roman citizen. His first name, or praenomen, is Marcus. His nomen then is Curatius. He also had a third name known as a cognomen, and that is the word down at the bottom of the third line, Modestus. So his name was Marcus Curatius Modestus. On the middle line of this you can see it says Marci Filius. This means that he was the son, Filius, of Marcus. The ending I on the end of Marci is there instead of our apostrophe S, Marcus's son. So that's known as a patronymic, and it's part of his name. The other word that we haven't discussed yet, SER. All Roman citizens were members of a specific voting tribe, whether or not they ever went to Rome to vote. And this shows that Marcus Curatius Modestus was in the Sergian voting tribe. It was a matter of pride if you were a Roman citizen to put all these elements of your name together. So you have the praenomen and the nomen with the cognomen at the end, sandwiching the other elements, the patronymic, the father's name, and the name of whichever voting tribe you were in. Treveri. This tells us that he came from the town of Trier in Germany. The symbol next to this means that he was a centurion. This is a common symbol that you'll see on a lot of Roman inscriptions. So he was a centurion. And on the next line we can see which legion he belonged to. Legionis, it ends in IS there to show that it means of the legion. Now the number is rather tricky, even with the aid of the Roman numerals list on the back of this. You might think that the numbers are XXVV. X10, X10, so that means 20. V means 5. However, when you see this particular pattern by a Roman legion, you know that it is the 20th legion, the legion XX, and the letters V actually stand for the honorific names given to the legion. This legion was the Legion Valeria Victrix, strong and courageous and victorious honorary titles which were given to this particular legion. On the next line we can see how many years our person lived for. Vixit annos, he lived for years, and then we have our Roman numerals XL11. L, 50. X before the L means you take 10 off, so that's 40. So he was 42 years old. We have some more numbers on the next line. Stip is short for the word that means how many years of army service he had. So this is how long he's been in the army. XV1111. X is 10, V 5, and then you've got the 4 ones. So he was in the army for 19 years. The final section consists of 2 formulas. The first one, HFC. His heir took care of having the tombstone made. Quite often on tombstones you will have the name of the heir as well. So the person who erected the tombstone liked to record their name on it as well. But that's the simplest form. HFC, the heir had the tombstone made. And at the bottom, another formula, HSE, hic situs est, here he lies. If this was a woman's tombstone, instead of hic situs est, you would see hic sita est, with an A instead of the US to show that it was a female rather than a man. So that's the complete inscription, and you can use this pattern to adapt it to whichever tombstone you want to now go and look at. Here's a reminder of this one. See if you can translate it for yourselves.